Hello guys, Claude and Jessica live in the Philippines, but you already know that. We live here in Texas. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. Thank you new subscribers for watching. Thank you YouTube for pushing our videos, recommendations. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about healthcare in the Philippines versus healthcare here in the United States. It's a little different even here in Texas than it was in Massachusetts. I spoke about this before, but consider my wife was expecting our little girl in a couple months, and how, she was going to say something how, if she was in the Philippines and the process of having a child there is a little different from here. I struggled to get insurance here in Texas. It's a little different from Massachusetts. But you got to be persistent. I never give up on some things. So it's starting to work its way out. And as far as me being 65 and Medicare, Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D, blah, 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 blah. And I had to push my way through just to get something decent. But it turns out it's actually better than when I was working. It's amazing how much you get, Yeah, I found this shirt. I had this since 2017 when I went into Manila to meet Jessica for the second time. But she'll be joining us in a couple of minutes. Okay. Well, anyways, I thought my wife would be joining me maybe at the end. She's having a rough time lately. Belly's getting bigger. It's like mine's not supposed to be getting bigger. But for instance, her sister had a baby. And she drove, had to go to Maramag. Actually, was kind of free service. She gets a little help from the government, surprisingly, and she's listed as indigenous or something or other. It's free delivery, but as far as getting an ultrasound, they make them wait for like almost to the end before they get an ultrasound. Like, big deal. When we were in Massachusetts, Jessica had so many ultrasounds and was calling to the doctors all the time for tests and little blood samples and stuff like that. And, fortunately, you don't live too far in the province when you're going to have the baby. Like, my wife was born in her grandmother's truck, and so was her brother Marcus. They just never made it to where they needed to go. But, it happens here occasionally, but we're not too far from the hospital. We're about 14, 15 miles. And there's two hospitals here in Victoria, and we chose one. Everybody else just keeps saying pick the other. We chose the other one, but whatever, the doctor's already there. The doctor seems to be pretty good. And so in the Philippines, and another thing, like if we were having the baby there, I'd be upset because the men can't go into the operating room where they deliver the baby. They don't allow that there, and I'd be really upset. I've cut 3 or 4 cords in my life with my other kids from previous marriages, and you want to be there. I truly believe that's the closest you ever get to being, close to your wife is when they're having, when they're in labor, and she's squeezing your hand and maybe calling you a few names, but that's the closest you ever get to your wife. I truly believe that. And let's see. Gee, my coffee actually came out good this morning. I think I've been putting too much water in this cup. But yeah, like I wouldn't be able to go into the room. I'd be really upset about that. I just can't sit there. And our only issue now is just the 3 of us. We have, a couple of friends in the church. I'm not sure if somebody's going to come sit with Elijah for an hour while I go in there while she's, having the baby. But we'll figure it out at some point. Whoever watches this video, do you want to come here and help us out? Now, if we were in the Philippines, we'd have Yaya, our family member, helping us, but we're not in the Philippines. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Actually, it's supposed to be in church, but just wasn't feeling good today. And Jessica's having some pains the baby's getting bigger in her stomach. And then, if she's giving birth here, the baby will be an American citizen. In the Philippines, we'd have to go through a lot of paperwork and stuff like that. So it's just timing. We didn't plan on having another son or a girl, but this is what's going on. And for you fat critics who made jokes about my weight and said I was just a fat slob sitting in a chair, you're wrong about that. And you can't watch my channel anymore anyways because I squeeze you to the curb. But here, we go there because the C-section, they plan a time and the date. My wife won't have to go through all the labor like she did with our baby Elijah. We were there, a couple false alarms. She went through a lot, and then they finally decided to do a C-section. C-sections here in the United States are horizontal cut. In the Philippines, it's vertical. But if you look that up here in this country, in the United States, the vertical is done in case of an emergency or the baby's turned a different way. Or not, head first. But in the Philippines, most of the C-sections are done like that, what's done in an emergency here. Which is a little strange to me, but I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I have worked in the OR before. I was a materials manager for a while. But, it's just done a little bit differently there. When we were there, it was during COVID, so, I had some issues with going to the doctor. My son was sick a couple of times, and then you get there, the doctor's not even there. Like an hour or two goes by, the doctor shows up. You had an appointment, so that's just hurry up and wait in the Philippines. It's just the way it is. So I hope you guys watch this vlog, and our videos like these are informational. There's a whole lot of topics we can cover. They keep popping up in my mind. My experience, a year and a half in the Philippines. Shout out to all you guys who are over there, all you expats who seek a Filipino wife. It's the best thing I've ever done. And I had been doing it for years and years, and I didn't know I couldn't go anywhere if I couldn't get a passport because I owed child support. But that all came to pass. Paid everything off. Boom, here I am. Coming up in July, my wife and I will be married 5 years. She'll be in the country 5 years or whatever. Last June 2018, she got here June 2nd. Picked her up in JFK. And, not too long of a vlog, but I just want to talk about the healthcare as far as pregnancy is concerned. And it's definitely a little different here. You're back and forth to the hospital all the time. What I don't like about here is how the healthcare, they're making so much money off of most of us Americans. Excuse me. And it's just ridiculous. I got to get a root canal this Tuesday coming up. I had to change my United Healthcare for Medicare to get more money. It was only $500, so they were able to go up. Then I changed again. I've been trying to get Medicaid through here to get help. It's just ridiculous. If you're not persistent, you're never going to get nothing. You got to be persistent, but you still got to have patience. But healthcare versus America versus Philippines. Philippines, you got PhilHealth. You got to pay into that. You got to pay into Social Security there. You got to pay in a lot of stuff for you, but get nothing when you get older. Farm workers, they work harder than anybody. They have no kind of plan, no insurance for when they retire. It's difficult in the Philippines. Even during the pandemic, they sent out a few bags of rice to certain families. But if you had a family member who was an OFW, you weren't getting nothing because you were considered you had some money. Shout out to my wife. Guys, love your wives. Give them kudos for everything they do. And when they speak differently, you got to understand. I make this mistake all the time. I'll be talking about a guy, and my wife will say she. It's actually he, but that's just the way they talk. It's just, they mean one thing, they just use those words. It's totally different culture. You got to get used to that. My wife's pregnant, her feet hurt, her legs hurt, so I rub her feet for her. She rubs my back. And in the Philippines, everybody's rubbing on each other. You always get a massage somewhere. That's just the way they're brought up. Or if you're hurting, they grab this little pressure point right here and press on it. But it's all good. That's just, healthcare in America versus healthcare in the Philippines when it comes to pregnancy and just other things to fill health. And if you are 65 and older and you go to the Philippines, you're a Medicare, you can't use it. You can't use it in another country. But I mean, you can buy insurance with different companies. Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures will tell you about that. And they have blogs and telling you how to do that. So, but anyways, guys, that's it. My wife's a little busy. Babe, you doing okay in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's taking care of our son. He's eating breakfast. We're probably going to go do laundry today at some point. And you guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Maraming salamat.